Thank you, Professor Ozini, for giving me such a good opportunity to present my work or my thoughts over how the social media information is useful during a disaster response and management phases. Uh, as we know that understanding what is happening during and after a disaster is critical uh, to reduce the human and economic losses. In the modern society, as we know that the social media platforms like the Facebook, Twitter, have become the essential communication tools. Now, these platforms generates a real-time data that can be support governments and the relief organizations in preparing a better response and the recovery plans. During a disaster, it is important to make the right decision for helping the peoples. Uh, Effective disaster response and recovery require a broad understanding of a disaster situation. So in that scenarios, the images and text messages shared during a disaster, it can be useful in preparing an effective and active disaster response and recovery plan. Now, how the social media transforms the way we respond to the disaster. Now, here are the some key benefits, as my colleagues also discussed. Like it is social media data is useful for the speedy and efficiency. One of the greatest advantage in the rapid dissemination of the information. It is during a disaster, every second counts. So the social media platforms allow for the immediate sharing of the updates, warning messages, and the safety information to the vast audience. And it also allows the speed and efficiency. One of the greatest advantages is the rapid dissemination of the information over there. With the billions of users worldwide, the social media has the ability to reach a large number of people quickly. This ensures that the vital information spreads far and wide, crossing the geographical boundaries and reaching even to the most remote areas also. And the interactive communication platform, as it is provided two-way communication that allows for the feedback and updates from both sides, from the victim side also and from the disaster manager sides also. And the community, most important is the community engagement. Social media platform facilitates the direct communication between the local leaders and the community members, and they can share their thoughts, their feelings, how they are experiencing during that particular disaster time, during a disaster time. So this information can be mined and can be used in preparing a better response and recovery plan. Now, how the social media help and during and after a disaster. Let's explore now. In terms of the immediate help, real-time updates can be generated, can be getting in the by using the different API that is provided by the social media platform. These information can be mined and can be stored and can be used to respond the community in better way. Also, the information sharing, these also facilitate the sharing of emergency contacts numbers, locations of the relief centers, and their critical information that are require the immediate assistance. This kind of information can also be shared using these kind of platforms. Another is crowdsourced information and crowdsourced reports on the roadblocks, shelter availability, and the rescue operation can provide quickly by using these social media platforms. Now, the short-term aid can be provided to the victims by. In my work, I use the images and the text messages that are shared during a disaster by the different victims over there. One can collect that data, can analyze that images or messages over there, and can by doing some sentiment analysis team, then one can find out at which location or which emergency need to be supplied. In the long term, for the sustainable recovery and the response in the long-term support is crucial for the sustainable recovery after a disaster. In that case, the social media helps to disseminate information on the government and the NGO rehabilitation program, including the housing, education, and employment opportunities over there. And the mental health support also crucial during after a disaster, also during a disaster period phase. And the sharing the resources for the mental health support, counseling services can be provided using these publicly available platforms. And the community rebuilding efforts can be easily uh, uh, be carry on using these kind of platforms. Now let us see how the social media image analytics can be helpful during the disaster response phases. During a disaster, images shared on the social media enable the concerned authorities to obtain the rapid situation awareness and to estimate the incurred damages. As the volume and the velocity of such content are typically very high, so the real-time filtering of the irrelevant messages and the damage assessment has become an urgent need for a faster disaster response. In this particular work, we address the two different disaster-related objectives. First one is the informativeness, how whether that particular images that is shared on during a disaster is related to a disaster, whether it is helpful during a disaster response phases or not, then that particular image is considered as informative, and other one that is not related to a disaster is considered as the non-informative images. The another objective is to assess the damage by using the images shared on the by the victims during a disaster hit area. In this particular work, I used a publicly available data set that have more than 59,000 images corresponding to the objective one, that is informativeness, identify the informativeness images, and another, and more than 30,000 images corresponding to the damage severity assessment objective. This particular data set have a labeled imagery data that have the that cover the most common disasters like earthquake, flood, and fires and landslide, etc. These particular we use some AI-based methods and the machine learning approach to segregate the irrelevant messages and to segregate the irrelevant messages and find out the which images are relevant to the disaster respondent and which are not respondent. Now, in this particular work, I developed a text analysis tool that can be used for the disaster response. Like we know that location information is crucial to understand the impact of a disaster. It includes where the damage has occurred and where the people who need help are situated. As we know that the message communicated by the eyewitnesses are very helpful to collect the on-the-ground facts about the disaster site. But most of the time, these messages are very general. Let us see this example. Like one of the victims during the Kerala flood posted this one. If you are from India or Kerala state near the city, this area, please send. I am near them, but we have a flood, please share. Where although the meaning of this particular message is served, that particular victim required a help, asking for a help, but the access the exact location from this particular information, this particular message is not possible. If their message is either a geotag, if it is geotag, then it is easily to get the exact location, but if that particular message is not geotag, if the exact location information is not shared in that particular message, that in that case, finding the location of that particular victim is very hard to extract. So this kind of problem motivates us to develop a framework that can be locate the victims at more granular level, and also which is independent from the content of the post. For this particular work, we collected a data set by myself that covers the 12 disaster events that occurred between 2018 to 2020 worldwide. It includes the 3 hurricane events, 3 flood events, 4 cyclone events, and the 2 forest fire events. We have collected, for this particular messages, we trust on the Twitter. Now it's known as X platform, text X platform. And we have collected more than 38,000 tweets corresponding these 12 disaster events. The proposed framework has the four different modules. First one is module M1 is responsible for the data collection and filtering part, and the next module is designed for data pre-processing and categorization purposes. And the next one, in this particular module M3, we did the sentiment analysis of the victims toward the different emergency requirements like food, medical help, rescue, or etc. In the last module, we do this particular module is responsible for the location extraction. We use the OSM OpenStreetMap over there and QGIS to locate the exact more or less exact location of the victims. So this is the case study of the Assam flood that has happened during the 2021 in India. We have collected approximately 29,000 tweets over the Marigaon district of Assam state. After filtering these messages, we left with the approximately 18,000 flood-relevant tweets. So this is the bounding box over the Marigaon district, which is my case study over there. And this particular image shows the distribution of different requirements of the different emergency needs. Like the red one shows that the people over here require the medical services first, at the priority basis. Next, like this green one, where the green boxes imply that the people over here who are here like demand the food supply. There is a shortage of food over here. Here is these people require the shelter, like shelter first. Their priority is to getting the shelter. So these kind of information can be useful during a disaster response phase. And these particular figures represent the people's positive and negative sentiments toward the different essential needs in each square sub-region. Like a green one shows that they do not require that particular supply, like food. In case of food, we can say that where it is green, then that they have a sufficient food supply over there. And the red one, there is a scarcity of the food. So the disaster responder should focus on the red one in case of food supply. And similarly, in case of this shelter, where there is a red, then victims over there require the shelter first. So by using these kind of visuals, the disaster manager can bring the demanded materials to the specified location rather than dumping them where there is an excess supply. Now come to the conclusion, we can say that the social media significantly changes the disaster management by providing the real-time updates and quickly sharing of the critical information. Overall, the social media fosters the informed public, organized response, and enhance the trust in the social media as a reliable source of during crises. Thank you. If there is a question, we can discuss at the end of the session.